Hey, Future Medics. Today we're talking about how your body builds energy, and that's called cellular respiration. And I promise I can make this a little simpler than it seems. So, if you understand this, you're going to understand why perfusion matters, why oxygen is life, why cells die without it. Every single cell in your body needs energy to work. And the energy that your body uses is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Think of it like a, a little battery pack for all of your cells. And once that battery pack runs out, the cell can't function anymore because it's out of energy. And if enough cells in your body run out of energy, patient crashes. So, how do we make this energy? Well, it's glucose, sugar, glucose, plus oxygen. Cellular respiration happens in three stages: glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport chain. I'm going to do a really quick little overview to hopefully help it make sense, and then we will go more in depth on this because I know this one is kind of hard to understand. So, we're going to start with step one, glycolysis. It's kind of the prep stage, it's the initial where everything starts, and it is in the cytoplasm of the cell. So, we're outside of the mitochondria. Glycolysis will take one glucose molecule and break it into two smaller molecules, which are called pyruvate. So this doesn't make a lot of energy, it just makes the two ATP molecules. And it will then throw these in the hopper to send it on the conveyor belt to the next step of the process. Step two, the Krebs cycle. So those little pyruvates are riding their conveyor belt into the mitochondria, where the Krebs cycle is then going to start. And it's going to pick up those little pyruvate and cause a bunch of chain reactions and break them down further to make very high energy electrons. And it's going to sprinkle those tiny electrons onto the conveyor belt so that it can ride to the next step. Now, this step, kind of think of it like a kitchen prep. It's breaking down a bunch of carrots for later. It's breaking down a bunch of onions for later. It's peeling a bajillion oranges for dessert, right? Not a whole bunch is made here. It's more of a prep phase. But all of these things need to be done for large meals to be made quickly and efficiently later. So 2 ATP are made in the Krebs cycle, but mostly everything is broken down to go to the third step. All right, the third step, the electron transport chain. So all these little electrons are riding in on their conveyor belt. And in this step of the mitochondria, we're still in the mitochondria, these electrons go through a bunch of chemical reactions that are dependent upon oxygen. Okay. This is where we get a huge payout. With those little electrons, it creates 28 ATP. So in glycolysis, we had 2. In the Krebs cycle, we had 2. In ETC, we have 28. So all of it adds up to about 32. And some textbooks say 32 to 38, 32 to 36. That's if it's a really highly efficient system. 32, super acceptable answer. Okay, so from 1 glucose, we broke down into 32 ATP, 32 little energy packs. That's a lot. That's a pretty amazing system. Unless oxygen doesn't exist in the cell because of things like low perfusion, then it doesn't work like that. When there is oxygen, this is a highly efficient system. From 1 glucose molecule, we got 32 ATP. That's fantastic returns. And that is aerobic respiration with oxygen. But if there's no oxygen available in the cells, the mitochondria can't finish the job. So the cell switches to anaerobic respiration without oxygen. Highly inefficient, lots of waste. From 1 glucose, we get 2 ATP. That's it. And a ton of lactic acid. So much of it. That lactic acid can build up in the blood, and we can get lactic acidosis, which we see in healthcare. We see it after cardiac arrest. We see it in patients with shock. Anytime oxygen cannot get to cells, we see this buildup of lactic acid in the body. When you see a patient in respiratory failure, this is what's happening in their body on a microscopic level. Not only have they been breathing hard, so they're tired, their body is not able to make as much energy because it's in an anaerobic situation. So when we put them on oxygen, when we help with their perfusion, we are helping their body get back to a state of aerobic respiration so they can make the energy that the body needs to not only maintain what's going on, but hopefully recover. So remember, whenever we are doing these things, giving them medications for their perfusion, we're really helping on a microscopic level as well, because this is everything that's running around inside. And that is the heart of what we do. And that is why this is actually really important. It's kind of interesting to see in real time. I'm going to break this down further, so hopefully this overview helps put it in your mind a little bit of what's going on, and then we'll dive deeper. You're doing fine. You're going to be okay. I believe in you, and I'll see you soon.